I'm Shotgun Tom Kelly, president of the Pacific Pioneer Broadcasters, Hollywood Media Professionals, and we've been honoring people in the entertainment world since 1966. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our archives, and we're going to show you some of the people that we've honored from the past. Now, here's episode number 4 of our series paying tribute to the amazing Carl Reiner. Let's join television host Tom Bergeron as he talks with Carl about directing movies and working with the zany Steve Martin. Sit back and enjoy.
Ronald Reagan was an airport named after him, should have this named after him, responsible for the 20-minute show and the commercials that go back to back, so you can see a Viagra commercial, a commercial for anus, reducing hemorrhoid pills, all of those things, because Ronald Reagan, who was a friend of the big industry, said, no, you don't. Herbert Hoover in 1937 said the airwaves belong to the people. 28 minutes or 27 and 3/4 minutes belong to the show. 15 seconds for public service. The rest is for entertainment. So the Van Dyke Show had a beginning, a middle, and end, and a tag. Very important. I remember Sheldon said, we have to cut. We'll cut the tag. I said, no, we can't cut the tag. I remember once the editor, Bud Mole, and myself, working on Saturday and Sunday to cut a minute out of the show. We didn't want to lose a minute of fun. We cut a frame from each scene. We had 1,000 frames, which cut it down to 2 minutes we needed. That's how I felt about beginning, middle, and end. And Ronald Reagan said, no. He was a friend of big business. He wanted to get more commercials in. So he said, and I write about him, I'm very angry at him for that, for 2 things. One, for that, and because now it's 20 minutes and luckily we have cable, which you don't have commercials. But Ronald Reagan did another thing, which I wrote about. I'm not afraid to take on people who can no longer hurt me. Tony Curtis, the lovely man, invited me to his home the first year I came out to do a movie. The Russians are coming. I entered, yes, thank you. I became a Screen Actors Guild member, and I've been a member of AFTRA and Writers Guild, but never, and now I went to the first meeting, and Ronald Reagan was the president of the Screen Actors Guild. This I will never forgive him for. He was up there talking about residuals, where to cut off residuals to actors. In other words, when a show is repeated, money is given to actors for having been the image on screen, and he was trying to push it as far forward as possible, and we were trying to push it back, and so he got it to 1968, and we're all saying, including me, I said, wait, sir, isn't it better? Now, isn't it more important that old actors who can no longer work get residuals than young actors who can still work? I said, we should be pushing the residuals back and back. And he forced it through, and the residuals stopped at 68. And I remember this so well because I did a movie called Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, where we used clips from old shows. And each clip, a minute clip, cost $10,000. The studios, all of Ronald's friends, got $10,000 a minute, and we used hundreds and hundreds of them. Actors, nothing. And I remember getting a letter from Johnny Weissmuller, who played Tarzan. We had a little clip of Tarzan, which we never used, actually, but he'd heard about it. And he wrote me a letter and said, I can't pay my rent. He lives in Florida, and he owes $2,500 in back rent. And I'm saying, that's because if it was pre-68, he would be getting it. So I sent him $2,500 from our budget from the movie. And I said, please, and to this day, I'm thanking Ronald Reagan for not helping the old actors. And you don't have to applaud. But he has an airport named after him. I don't have.
Yet.
Yes, right.
This does bring up, though, another part of your personality and another part of our friendship that I've always enjoyed, how much we talk politics and what's going on in the world. And you've always been not only socially conscious, but socially active as well. And that can jeopardize a career, I would imagine, or at least the half of the people who don't agree with you. Did that ever still your tongue?
Obviously not. Well, and then another thing happened where you write books, and the people who like you buy your books, and there are enough people who like it. I really don't get a lot of. I'm a hail fellow, well met. I can talk to people who are reasonable. I can't talk to unreasonable people. I mean, there's a wing of the Republican Party that I just don't understand. The people who decide not to vote, whether to give aid to poor people who can't raise the minimum wage. What could be the reason not to? I mean, that drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. We who have, those Republicans, and not all Republicans, but those Republicans, when they decided not to tax the very wealthy, and we who have money are saying, taxes, taxes, we can afford it, the poor people can't afford it. They said, we do not want to raise taxes we don't even want to discuss raising taxes. That made me crazy. And I don't know, I saw red. I couldn't believe that. It cost them nothing if they had to pay them, they still have, and all of their money they say is creating jobs, which is not. It's all on offshore in the Cayman Islands, raising no jobs. They're making more money. They've made more money on just not doing anything. The amounts they've been put on the air. The amounts they're getting, it's scary. Nobody can count that money.
I want to get back to the post. Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Yes, you can. But when the Van Dyke show wrapped, you had decided that you didn't want to repeat yourself, so 5 years seemed like a good time to wrap it up. And really, you're responsible for, I think, Steve Martin's film career, right? Because you directed him in his first, 4 movies?
I did. I'm not. Nobody's responsible for Steve Martin, the person, because he is the single most brilliantly funny writer I've ever read. And serious writer. He writes like a dream. There's another writer who writes pretty well. Barack Obama's autobiography is one of the best ever written. Born Standing Up, Steve Martin's biography, one of the best biographies ever written. Sad, funny, brilliant. He's written a book on art that is brilliant as can be. He is an absolutely brilliant writer. But when he did the first movie, The Jerk, is that was it? Yes.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, it was written by 2 other guys, and I came in, and he had never done anything but stand-up. So the first time he ever talked to other actors was in The Jerk, and I did help him a little with that. But mainly, he's one of these guys you place on the ground and just say, go, go. He's just absolutely brilliant. He did the single most. One afternoon, I was feted by I think the Television Academy gave me one of those things they give you. They put you to bed for life or something, and they give you an award. And all my friends were there. Everybody was there. Even George Clooney came, because I was in the Ocean's movie, and he's sitting beside me. The only one that didn't show up was Steve Martin, but he sent a tape, and it was the single funniest tape I've ever seen. They played it on the screen. It says, Carl, and he's cut like ears. He said, I would have been there. I would have loved to have been there, but the thing you're doing tonight is happening at the very same moment that I'm having my dinner next door. And he was at a dinner table next door with food in front of him, and he was eating dinner. So I couldn't come because I'm sure you'll understand. Of course I understood. We got the biggest laugh we ever got. But that's Steve for you.
One of the things we were talking about backstage, you have a fairly unique, well, you can't qualify unique. It's a unique gift for this audience that you have painstakingly prepared.
And I missed the last line. I mean,
Well, the gift for the audience, because frankly, you know, I know you would have loved to have given them all a copy of your book.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Now listen, you gotta go along with this. I have two books. One is called I Remember, and this one is called I Just Remembered. I'm very, very proud of this book. I think it's the best thing I've ever written. I'm saying that with a totally straight face, and I want you to know that it was my idea to give each and every one a free book. However, the publisher, where are you, Larry?
Right over there, Larry's right there, yeah.
He informed me it would be financially prohibitive to do so. And I couldn't fathom that. So what I did this morning in bed, I have taken one book and I have autographed every page of the book. And it's scored. It's scored so that it will be torn. I'm going to pass the book. How many people are there out here?
Several hundred, I think.
How many exactly?
300.
That is, look at this.
375?
There are 300 and somebody is going to, I'll have to tear a few pages out of the other book. There are over 300 pages. I'm going to pass the book around.
Bring it down. I'll bring it down for them. Yeah.
Right in front. And,
all right.
And I want to see it start happening. What you're to do is don't select a page. The page that is there, it's scored. This morning I scored it. I want to see it happening.
Only one page per person, please.
Yeah. All right, you tear a page out, the first page, and just pass it to the next person. Did you do it? Okay, pass it to the next person. Hold the page up that you got. Hold the page up that you got. Okay, there it is.
You have your page, ma'am?
Okay,
Very
got a
nice. There you
page.
go. There you go.
So, everyone, and I dare say, this just happened. That book, which is the 300 pages, almost every page on one side or another has a picture, a photograph of something of interest. It could be a dog, it could be Hitler, it could be, he's in there. And so for those of you who don't have, we need another few pages, I will go backstage and score a few more of these. And we'll pass that when I leave here.
That's the kind of guy he is. Give it up for Carl Reiner.
I'm the kind of guy. What's that? What is that song? How does that song?
Huh? I don't know.
What is that? That's the kind of guy I am. What is that? There's a song.
There's a song like that?
That's the kind of guy I am. I'm biding my time. That's the kind of guy I am. Anyway, that's it.
And a musical number, too.
Anyway.
We want to bring Chuck back out here, who has something to give it. Chuck Street is Chuck. Oh, you're right here. Okay, here you go, Chuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Reiner. Carl, on behalf of the Pacific Pioneer Broadcasters, I am pleased to present you with the Art Gilmore Career Achievement Award for many, 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 many distinguished years in radio and television on this day, September 12th, 2014. Congratulations.
Exactly what he says is said on here. The only thing he didn't say, founded 1966. 1966. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway, I thank you, and this is a real honor because at this age, to get out to do this is, it gives me something to do. The day is not just shot. It's wonderful. I thank you again.
Thanks for joining us. You know, I can already feel the excitement building for our next Hollywood Media Professional Celebrity Showcase.